Birds recap brought to you by Miller Lite, the official beer sponsor of the Philadelphia Eagles, and by our friends at Banko Beverage Company. And we were both kind of like,
Yeah.
kind of the feeling right now around the Philadelphia Eagles. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for tuning in as we get set for the last week of the season. You know, I go back to the beginning of the season, and I think if I told you had a chance at 12-5, you were playing for a shot to win the NFC East, you're probably thinking like, man, all right, like we had a pretty good year. Right now, it just doesn't feel so great. So I'll start with this with you, buddy, as the Eagles get set to take on the Giants in the Meadowlands. Could be messy conditions on Sunday.
Sure.
What are you doing? How are you playing? Are you playing? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm playing and I'm also scoreboard watching, to be honest with you. I think there's a chance. I mean, Crockett, we need to feel so much better. You're absolutely right. It's just been one of those weeks. I think for the Eagles organization, for the fans, for the players, they need to come out and they need to play a very good football game. You know, honestly, if the Cowboys game is a blowaway and Dallas up by 3 touchdowns in the second half, yeah, you might start pulling some guys. But I think I think we need to play a really solid football game, win by a touchdown or two, and take the momentum from there. And look, I know we started by saying we feel kind of but ever since AJ Brown spoke, I'm feeling a little bit better about the team. I'm feeling a little bit better about the direction where we could be potentially going. Putting together a nice winning streak begins on Sunday, and I feel better today than I did, say, even Tuesday or Wednesday about their chances of advancing in the playoffs.
So I'm going to take the complete opposite side of everything that you're saying right now. I think that no matter what the circumstances are on Sunday, you sit everybody. We're taking our foot off the gas. There's a really good chance you're going to be playing Tampa Bay in that opening round in Tampa Bay. You've played them this year. You've got to win there this year. They're going to be playing the Carolina Panthers in order to win the NFC South, which the Panthers have not been very good this season. Of course, anything can happen on an NFL Sunday, but there's a very good chance that Tampa Bay is going to be your first round matchup. I think they just need a full reset. I think part of that reset would be, in essence, giving yourself 2 weeks leading up to that game against Tampa Bay. You kind of come away from Arizona. They said they've been going pretty hard in practice. I say take your foot off the gas, give your guys 10 days to just be fully ready to go for that game against Tampa Bay. Okay. And the message to the team is everything to this point means nothing. We had a goal to get to the playoffs and play for a Super Bowl. We're here. Everything that's happened up until this point, forget about it. You bring up, kind of scoreboard watching and stuff like that. The Eagles were up 21-6 going into halftime at Arizona. And we saw how that third quarter turned out and everything turned on a dime pretty quickly. So I don't need to hear the positive momentum of the first half right now means nothing to me. So I think that they need to just sit back, get healthy, prepare themselves for Tampa Bay. I would imagine there's probably already people breaking down Tampa Bay film with the most likely chance that happens. Now, there's also the strange chance that Washington could make that a football game, and a strange chance that, the Eagles could win this game with their backups against the Giants in a game that doesn't mean anything to the Giants. So I don't know. To me, it just feels like everything we've done to this point, we're resetting, we're restarting. There's a brand new season that starts next Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. And that's the approach that I'm taking.
And while I respect your approach, I do see what you're saying and I understand it. I just, man, you have another division title out there that could be up for grabs. I say go for it. Start right from there and win it back to back. I know last year means absolutely, positively nothing at this point. But, man, if it's in the grasp and I see Washington 28, Dallas 13 with 3.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, man, you guys are playing till the end. That's just my take on it. Now, the negative is you don't want Hurts in there taking a stupid sack, twisting his knee, twisting his ankle, and you have to look at that side of it. I get that as well. But, I think we both agree, Crockett, if we go in with a win, I mean, you're not taking the stance of just get through this. You'd still want an Eagles win, I would think, right? Or are you just let's just get through this game, through this
season? The condition. Yeah, of course, I would love for it to be an Eagles win. And if by the off chance Dallas loses that game against Washington, well, then you're a blind squirrel who found a nut to me.
Right.
I just get the impression, messy conditions Sunday. Let your guys rest. You've got some defensive starters that are coming. Darius Slay, different guys that can be coming back and be healthy. Zach Cunningham, 100% ready to go for that opening round matchup, that wild card game.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see. There's very little that I could see. Even if the Eagles ran the Giants off the field and it was 28-0 in the first half, it still wouldn't make me feel great. In my mind, you booked your ticket to the playoffs.
Okay.
That should be the focus right now. And there's not much, in my opinion, again, this is my personal opinion, that could be done in that game against New York that could really change the tone of things that have been going on for the Eagles up until this point. Again, I think the Eagles can go out there with Marcus Mariota and Boston Scott and those guys and play a Giants team that could be saying to themselves, a loss is better than a win for us right now because of draft seeding and all that sort of stuff. Brian Daboll's never beaten the Eagles, never beaten the Cowboys. Maybe that one does mean something to him at the end of the day. But to me, this game just feels like man, we missed out on a huge opportunity. A couple of weeks ago, we were talking about first round bye, home field advantage, and all that stuff. Give yourself a bye this week. Take the week off. Get ready for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The most likely situation is Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay.
Sure.
Get prepared, and that would be my approach to this week.
And also bring it up to the point that you're making is the fact, okay, you brought up Marcus Mariota, Boston Scott. It wouldn't be a bad idea, I guess, for Mariota to take some snaps, heading into the playoffs. You never know if he's going to be needed. You hope not. But I guess if he takes a couple snaps here and there, he only has a handful this season, get some of these guys, ready to go for the playoffs. I see the point there. That way, if you do need a Mariota to come on in, he's not going to be as rusty as if he didn't play at all, things like this. So there's also that upside to it as well. But going back down to Tampa, where the Eagles were earlier this year, they were playing better football earlier when they were in Tampa Bay. I think, was it a Sunday night or a Monday night game? I can't remember what it was. But Baker Mayfield also got better than, he wasn't playing bad quarterback there, but Mayfield got better than he did that night as well. This, man, if they are going to take your approach and give these guys off and they're doing some film now, they have a lot of homework to do. This is going to be a tough game. Was it 2 years ago they lost in Tampa Bay?
But that was Tom Brady. That was Nick Sirianni first year. That was all of that stuff. I mean, you bring up Tampa Bay. Listen, at that point early in the season, Tampa Bay had a winning record. I think they were two. I think both of those teams were 2-0 or whatever the case may be going into that game. Baker has, to me, been Baker Mayfield. He's looked really hot at times, and then he's looked, go back to last week against New Orleans. They weren't a very good football team last week against New Orleans. So, I think that's where my approach comes in on this, in just get prepared for that game against Tampa Bay. Try to get right in that game against Tampa Bay a little bit, and then, you're what you really were going for, what you really were striving for. You certainly had San Francisco and Dallas and all those teams circled on the schedule there. I just think I think this team has the talent and is good enough, and we've seen them do it, to be a team that could still be there in the playoffs. And whether that's on the road, whether that's at home, whatever the case may be, I think go in healthy and give yourself your best chance.
I think that's probably what's going to happen. I mean, it has to happen. I did the Eagles injury report earlier this morning on the air, and for the most part, the offense looks pretty good. The only question mark was, and it's a huge one, with Devontae Smith and the ankle, who pretty much didn't practice for the most. I think he practiced a little. I think he was limited in yesterday's practice, but he might be a person you say, you know what, we're not going to play. We're not going to play Devontae Smith at all. I think you can get away with 1 week sitting Devontae Smith down for the playoffs. And then, you still have A.J. Brown in there. And on the other side, who are you going to put in? I don't know if you're going to put in, Quez Watkins, or you're going to put in Covey for that. I don't know who you're going to go on that side. But I think it's important I would be in favor of resting Devontae Smith, considering he was limited in practice with the ankle. You don't need him this week against the Giants.
Yeah, I'm going Grant Calcaterra, Jack Stoll, Olamide Zaccheaus, Quez Watkins, Boston Scott, Rashad Penny, Marcus Mariota, and Jack Driscoll and Sua Opeta and whoever on that offensive line. Like, I'm just saying, we're on to next week. We got to focus. Okay. We got to get as healthy as we can. To your point, Devontae Smith doesn't need to be there.
No.
Darius Slay, why put him out there coming off of what he's coming off of? This is a bye week. take the bye week. I don't need if you got guys who have things in their contracts that say hypothetically Dallas Goedert needs 50 yards to get another $500,000 in his contract. I'm not going to tell Dallas Goedert to sit down, but in my mind, run the clock out, get out of New York, be done with it, and focus on the playoffs. It's a Cat Country 96 Birds recap. It is brought to you by Miller Lite, the official beer sponsor of the Philadelphia Eagles, and by Banko Beverage Company, our friends over there at Banko Beverage Company. Sam, so okay. There is the outside chance that the Eagles could be at least the 3 seed here and win the NFC East. And, that game, tough one between Dallas and Detroit last week. But again, you have to beat Arizona at home. So as upset as you want to be about that Detroit game, you have to beat Arizona at home. As upset as you want to be, you have to beat Arizona at home. So we're going to see how it all plays out, buddy. We'll see. I'm sure we'll get some information leading up to the game on who's going to start, who's not going to start. But the next time we talk, hopefully there's a little bit more excitement, a little bit more buzz, a little bit more like, okay, now we're getting ready to get after it.
I think we for our sanity, I think we need something like this to keep us going again. But I think there will be. And I think, when this season's all wrapped up, look, this time next week or whatever day it is, we're going to meet up again. We're going to be pumped. The Eagles are in the playoffs. And here's one thing. One of my friends who's a New York Giant fan, because I'm bummed. Of course, a lot of Eagle fans are bummed where the seating is, right? So here I am bumming. I can't believe we're in the playoffs for a while. He says, you know what? As a Giant fan, take it. You have one more week of football at least. So we got to look at it that way a little bit. And I've been starting to look at it. You know what? You can't take anything for granted. You're right. Eagles are in the playoffs. Let's go from there.
You listen, there's teams that have hit. I mean, look at the Eagles when they won the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. They stumble their way through a win against a very bad Raiders team in primetime football.
That's right.
Atlanta had every chance to win that divisional round game in Philadelphia and couldn't find a way to do it. Stranger things have happened. You've got an excellent quarterback. I think back there was the year the Ravens went on their run. They had stumbled down the stretch a little bit. And then all of a sudden, Joe Flacco goes in and has, you could argue, one of the best playoff runs in NFL history. They go ahead and win a Super Bowl. So stranger things have happened. So to me, that's why my mindset is just, we're all frustrated with how this has been, but we've got a card to play still. Okay. We've still got chips to push in the middle of the table. So let's go ahead, get after it, get focused on the playoffs and let that be the chase from there on out. So, all right, Sam, we'll see if we're out next week. We're out and about somewhere in the Lehigh Valley for the Miller Lite Birds recap. But if not, you'll catch us right back here getting ready for playoff round 1 in Tampa Bay, in New Orleans, in Philadelphia, where it might be. That's still to be determined, but we'll be ready to go. It's a Cat Country 96 Birds recap. It's brought to you by Miller Lite, the official beer sponsor of the Philadelphia Eagles, and by our friends at Banko Beverage Company. I'm sorry, Sam, I jumped in right before you were getting ready to say something. You all good?
Keep going. Oh, yeah. Okay. I was just curious if you were going to give a score. We're going to give a score for Sunday. Or is this one very hard to predict because it might be the second team and it might be the third team and things like this?
Eagles,
score-wise.
Eagles 13-10. Run the clock out.
Okay.
Run the football. 2 tight end sets. Throw it on third down when you have to. Just get out of Dodge. Eagles 13, Giants 10.
See, I agree with that, but they don't do that. That's the problem. We say run the ball through, and you have to. I say Eagles 23, Giants 17.
Okay. It'll be very interesting to see how the Giants play this one. I'm surprised that Tyrod Taylor's playing and not Tommy DeVito.
Yeah.
Just because I think you might still want to see what you have in Tommy DeVito. But again, this could be one of those games that the Giants are just like, we want to go out on a positive note. So
absolutely.
All right, Sam, we'll talk next week. We'll see how the playoffs look. We'll get ready for all those matchups. That'll be fun as that picture becomes clear and everything is set. So until next time, it's a Cat Country 96 Birds recap brought to you by Miller Lite, the official beer sponsor of the Philadelphia Eagles. Sam, enjoy your weekend. You go to see a scary movie.
We're going to go see, what's it called? Night Swim. Yeah, we're going to go see that.
Fun.
Yeah. Spooky.
I didn't know you were such a horror fan. We learn something about each other all the time, Sam Malone.
And you are as well, right?
I don't get into it as much, especially but the fact that you guys are actually going to the movies to see a scary movie, that's fun. That's very fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Crockett.
Don't get too scared, buddy.
Never.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.